Yep, we're live. Okay, and nothing crashed or went wrong this week, so that's all good. Hey, everybody, and good evening, and welcome to Tuesday night's Creative Genius TV. I'm Mandy, as usual, and I have the absolute pleasure tonight of being joined by Kerrie Patterson, who is a post-bullying mentor, but I'm not going to tell you anything about her because she's going to tell you about her, and you don't need to hear that from me. So welcome to this session. This is just going to be a chat between two people that actually work together because Kerrie's on my program. So she's going to tell you about that. So Kerrie, start by introducing yourself, tell people what you do, and then tell them your story.
Okay, thanks, Mandy. Hi, everyone. So I'm Kerrie, and as Mandy said, I am a post-bullying mentor. So what that essentially means is that I specifically support women who have experienced any form of emotional bullying or emotional abuse. And I've got online programs where I can support people to be able to stand tall again. So a little bit about me and my story.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, okay. So this will explain my absolute passion for this, as Mandy knows, my passion for what I do, and she's helped me with that. So yeah, my story started, quite a while back now. I'd say at least 3 years ago. I left my career as a qualified probation officer. I'd done that for 15 years, and what my role in that was to support people in accredited programs. So I dealt with a whole range of offences, and I supported men who had committed offences linked to domestic abuse, and also women who have been victims or survivors of that. So I had a lot of that was my specialism. I've got a lot of experience in that, and I left there because of burnout. The targets were becoming too much, and I was starting to lose my passion a bit for what I was doing. Mm-hmm. So I left there thinking, okay, what am I going to do now? During that time, I'd started to really kind of heal myself through creativity. So I began to upcycle furniture. I joined various groups on Facebook, and I sort of taught myself how to upcycle furniture. So anything ranging from chairs, stools, tables. I did a lot. Painting them, sanding them back to reveal the wood. And then I went on to learn upholstery. So when I left work with my redundancy pay, I trained to be an upholsterer because I absolutely love colours, fabrics, anything like that. Mm-hmm. So that's what I started off doing. And I formed a business called Vintage Vamped. And it's done well, and it was great, but I felt there was something missing. This is when Mandy comes in with my light bulb moment. Shall I talk about that?
Yeah, go on, yeah.
I had an amazing light bulb moment with Mandy because she's very good at doing those. And I realised that I wanted to be able to help women. I wanted to be able to help women to be in the position where I've been, because I've been a bullied person. I had such low self-esteem, and I couldn't figure out kind of where that had come from, because I had an amazing childhood. I've got amazing family, friends. But it turns out that things from my past kept coming back. Rebecca's on there. Hi, Rebecca. Nice to see you. Things kept coming back, and I realised that, when I was younger, I'd been bullied as a child. So we'd moved areas from the Midlands to the Northeast. And because I didn't have an accent, it became really difficult talking in class. I was sort of the posh girl, and people would laugh whenever I talked. And it just shut me down, basically. So my self-esteem was already low. And then I experienced lots of bullying at work, which I'm sure we can go into if you want to a bit later, Mandy, but just lots of different comments and difficulties. And it was meeting Mandy that really changed all that. So Mandy is you are a massive part of my story. Because I met Mandy in a networking meeting. I was too scared to go because my self-esteem was so low. So my mum actually went along, and she said, look, there's some amazing women there. They're really supportive. Come along. Bless her. She talked about me and my business, Vintage Vamped. And I came along and I met you, Mandy, didn't I? Mm-hmm. And here I am on your amazing program.
Thank you. It is, you've got an amazing story, Kerrie, and it's great what I love about you and what you do is your ability to be so open-minded in thinking about how you can best serve people and serve the world, really, because we've all got these great talents and great skills, and sometimes we just don't know how to use them. And you were open to all of my wacky ideas and suggestions that actually started to make sense to you, because when you start to look inside yourself, that's when you start to see where your skills and your talents are and how you can help others. So let's talk about that for a minute. You experienced bullying at work. So you experienced bullying in your childhood, and that's a lot of people do. And that kind of sits behind the scenes in the subconscious, doesn't it? Absolutely. Then when you go into the workplace and you experience it again, it can be devastating, can't it? So tell me how that manifested for you when you realized that that was the cause of your self-esteem issues.
Yeah, it was, in a way, I know it might sound stupid, but it was a bit of a shock to me in some way, because when I talk about the bullying, it wasn't sort of a consistent attack from a certain person or anything like that. It had happened in various careers that I'd had, and quite often, I'm sad to say, by dominant or by women in a position of power, if that was. And it was just little looks, it was little comments, it was just all these things that just gradually built up, you know, little things to put you down. And because my self-esteem had already taken a knock, I think I was susceptible to that. And it was awful. Like, I know when I met you, Mandy, you helped me work it all out, because I couldn't understand it, because I can be so extrovert and so confident in so many ways with the right people. But in certain situations, I was absolutely, you know, dreadful and just clammed up completely. And I think that was self-esteem from all the comments that had stuck in there about me, you know, feeling that I wasn't good enough. You know, why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? And yeah, I just felt like I wasn't good enough for anything or anyone.
So when you join the program, I mean, the first thing I work on is exactly that, isn't it? I take you into places that you've probably never touched before, and actually ask you to have a look at that and say, let's get that out of the way first before we go into business. So you went through that process and you realized a lot of things, didn't you? You realized that, and this is what I love, you realized in transforming furniture and moving into that, out of the horrible place that you were in, that you were actually transforming yourself. That was another aha moment, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what my passion is. You know, that just made such sense to me, because it, as you say, it was about how to fuse my creativity and that side of me with the other side of me, which is all about helping people. And I think through chatting with you, Mandy, I suddenly realized that all that experience I'd shut off for myself, all the 15 years I'd learned as a probation officer, and there is a lot of knowledge there. I did so much training and helped so many people, and I trained staff. I was a national trainer, I was a manager, and all of that, I thought, this can combine. I can do it both, and I can help people through the creativity. So that was a massive moment.
I know it was, and I remember it was a beautiful moment for me in your face when that happened. And so tell people then what that looks like. Tell people how you can help now if they're feeling that they're in that situation, or they've been in that situation and their self-esteem is on the floor, they've experienced bullying. Doesn't matter when they've experienced it, because it can show up 20 years later, can't it? It can be something that's just sustained in the subconscious, and then it can come out and be triggered at any point. So how do you help? How can they work with you? Let's start with that.
Okay. So people can work with me on my online programs. So I have 2 online programs. I'm developing one at the moment. I've got a 2-day workshop, and I've got my 21-day program, which is called This Is Me. And that is all about rediscovering you. So that it's really important what you said there about, it's not just if you're being currently bullied, but it's the impact. That's why I'm a post-bullying mentor as well, because I want people to really rediscover who they were before all that happened. Inside is I mean, this is my flamingos, aren't I? Inside is your inner flamingo, is you wanting to come out, and there's something blocking you. And I know that, I get that. And that's why I feel I can really help people, because not only have I got the knowledge and experience from my career, but I understand it to my core, because I've been there and I've been through this journey myself. And that's what I absolutely love. Somebody said you're awesome. Thank you. So on my 21-day program, you'll be working through different phases. You'll be working through looking a little bit at your past, but only touching on that, because a bit like you in your program, I don't want to dwell on that. I'm not about the counselling. I'm about moving people forward. So empowering people to recognise who they are and then start to move into their future and what they can achieve, which is exactly what I did and what I'm doing at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So my 21-day program is on at the moment, and actually it's half price at the moment, but only in July. So that's till Friday. So yeah,
there's a link in the top. There's a link. Yeah,
brilliant. Okay. So that's my 21-day program that I've got at the moment. And that's almost an introduction to it. That's for you now if you want to really do something now. And I'm busy developing my other program, which is going to be a 12-week program. And that is where I'm going to use the furniture and the upcycling transformation, as well as transforming you. So do you want me to talk about that in more detail, Mandy?
I want you to tell everybody about that, because that really excites me. When we came up with that in that call, that really excites me, and I can't wait to see it. So tell everybody what that is.
Brilliant, thank you. Okay, I get really passionate about it and I can over talk. So yeah, it's a 12-week program. So you will go through 12 modules. Now I'm busy working through the exact things there, but essentially what's going to happen is you're going to obviously be introduced to me, and you're going to be introduced to a bit of creativity to start getting those juices flowing a bit like I did with you, Mandy. Because one thing I just want to say is that everyone is creative. When I met Mandy, I said, I'm not creative. And she was like, well, look at all this stuff that you've done. I'm like, okay, maybe I am. But I got it in my head that I wasn't. In my head, I was an ex-probation officer, but I'm not anymore. I'm a creative person. So you're going to be introduced to that to start with. And then what we're going to start doing is I want you to choose a piece of furniture that you really want to revamp. So this is the exciting part. I'm going to give you a few options to choose. So it might be that you choose, I don't know, a stool that you want to reupholster. It might be a chair that you want to either paint or sand back to its original wood, maybe reupholster the seat. It might be a table or a chest of drawers. Whatever you want to choose, the process is going to be a similar thing. And the exciting part is going to be sourcing that. So you might have a really gorgeous piece of furniture that you're just a bit fed up with. Maybe it was a family heirloom or something that you think, oh, it looks a bit naff now. Maybe it's dark mahogany or something like that. And you think, oh, it needs lightening up. And you're going to choose that special piece of furniture. I'm going to send you off to charity shops, secondhand furniture places, because we're really going to do something that's sort of eco-friendly. So rather than throw things away and, I hate that, I hate waste. I want you to actually make something that's already there fabulous. And we're going to work through different stages of that. You're going to choose which one you want to do. And as you're doing that, we're going to transform you. So we're going to have a look at all your old beliefs, all the things that, the neglected piece of furniture, that's an ugly piece of furniture. Maybe you said ugly things about yourself. And we're going to look at that. And as you do that piece of furniture, I'm going to start getting you to feel so much more positive about yourself. You're going to be saying affirmations out loud while you're sanding or painting. I'm going to take you through that whole process until you've got an amazing finished piece that you can be proud of, and you can also be proud of yourself. That's in essence what it's going to be.
It sounds amazing. It really does excite me, and it's a very unique way of helping somebody. And that's what I love about it, because, there's so much copy and paste in this world, isn't there? There's so much copy and paste. Yeah. So when I boomed onto the scene, I wanted to bring something unique and help people in a really special way, and help creative women to be able to really understand where their innate skills sit and how they can help people and how brilliant they are. And you are a shining example of how brilliant everybody is underneath, because we've all got this ability, and it's how we actually manifest it in this world. And so many women are going to benefit from your 12-week program and be feeling like they can take on the world. And that's what's really special about it. And whatever they do during those 12 weeks is going to be anchored to the piece of furniture or the thing that they produce, because they've got a physical manifestation there as well. That is amazing. Amazing. So how does it make you feel, knowing that that's the process that you're taking people through?
Oh, absolutely elated, excited, passionate. I mean, I probably light up when I talk about it, because it's my absolute passion. I've literally found my light bulb thing, my aha moment that you talked about in the post. It is that. I'm just so excited to be able to help people, because that's where my passion is. I realized through the process with you that I'm an empath, and who knew? I didn't even realize that was a thing. You know, I knew I was empathic, but to realize I was an empath, and I want to be able to help and support people, and to do that in such a different way, it's really exciting, because I know when we chatted about it, I was really clear, exactly like you are, that I didn't want to be like everybody out there, because I had to have something different. That was just for me. I think it's amazing what people do out there, don't get me wrong, but for me, I wanted something that was going to be new and different, and something that had really helped me. And when I realized that was through the creativity and the transformation of furniture, then yeah, it's just exciting. It's amazing.
It made sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
what are your top tips for women who are feeling like they have low self-esteem and they think it's attached to bullying at the moment? How can they get in touch with you and say, I think this is me?
Oh, people can get in touch with me in so many different ways. I've got all my links on there, but you can message me. I'm so open to that. I really am approachable, because I genuinely want to help. I'm not going to put pressure on anyone. I'm not going to spam anyone. That is so not me. But I really want people to be able to reach out there, because what I've realized through my own experience and from other people's experience is there's a lot of shame that comes through this. People feel ashamed that they've allowed somebody to bully them, or it might not even be bullying necessarily. It's just whatever it might be. They feel ashamed that they've got low self-esteem and that they're depressed. You know, nobody wants to talk about that. And I'm here to say, no, absolutely not. Reach out like I did, because that is the bravest and most courageous thing you can do. To reach out, and I want to be able to help. So honestly, if anyone's feeling like that out there, don't give up, and don't give up on your dreams, because if I'd have done that, I wouldn't be where I am now, and everything for me has changed. I can't tell you, everyone who knows me just says, you know, you're just so, you're in your happy place now, and I am, and I think it shines through, and everyone has that ability. So please, you know, come and talk to me, and we'll discuss options. We'll discuss what's best for you and how we can help you.
Brilliant. So you mentioned there, bullying shows up in so many different ways, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it can be from really, really obvious to very, very subtle. So what types of things do people need to look out for? Because, you know, sometimes it's not even noticeable initially, is it?
Absolutely. I think it's subtle, and I think that's the thing with bullying, because what I realised, especially when I looked into this, there's a lot about children and who've bullied or been bullied, and rightly so, of course, you should always talk about that. But there's not a lot about adult bullying, and actually adults can be the worst bullies, you know. So, you know, relationships, workplace, partnerships, family members, so-called friends. That's a huge thing. Wow, I had a so-called friend a long time ago who bullied me, and I didn't realize it because it was so subtle. And what it was it was consistent. It was consistent little comments to put me down. Right. So describing me as, you know, she was the clever one, but I was good at other things. I just wasn't the clever one. You know, it was things like that. It was, you know, signs to look out for with anyone, or anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. If somebody's putting you down in front of people as a so-called joke, that is bullying. If it makes you feel uncomfortable, and if it happens time and time again, that is quite intentional. And what I've realized is it might be a subconscious thing for some people. It might be a way of making them feel better, and they might not know how bad they make you feel, because they might see it just as a joke. But one thing I want to make clear is you're not being oversensitive by not liking that, because I spent years thinking, oh God, it's just me, it's my fault. And I turned it around onto me. And now I think, actually, hell no, it is not my fault. I didn't ask for that. I'm a kind person. I wouldn't be like that with you. So if you notice any signs, trust your gut instinct. And if that's with a partner, that is particularly prevalent, because they're the people that are meant to love you the most. If they're using manipulation, I mean, that's so important, isn't it? You know, we've talked about that. Yeah. Because that's a form of bullying.
Oh, that can be soul destroying in a way. That when that happens consistently, let's have a look. This is very relatable, Kerrie. It so is, because so many, and I'm going to say, so many women experience this in their lives from different different areas, even children from parents experience this constant little nip of, you'll never do that, you'll never do this. This is where a lot of the problems in later life come up. But it is actually soul destroying when it's a partner and it's subtle comments, or it's a sibling, or it's a mother to a child, an older mother to an older child. And it is those consistent little, somebody said to me the other day, I don't even know whether that was you, that they often, I can't remember who it was, but it was a conversation I had about a week ago with somebody who said a friend went out with them because they felt better when they had that friend along with them, because they weren't as good looking or they weren't as skinny, or so they actually went out with this friend because the other person felt better because they were along. And I was like, oh my God, that is so terrifying that people actually think like that, but that happens all the time. And I mean, all the time. It does. It's awful, isn't it? It can be destroying.
And one thing as well, absolutely, because when I'm just thinking there, when you made those comments, Mandy, that actually I was reading something only just before about cyberbullying, of course, as well, because that's another thing, isn't it? The little comments, the comments about how attractive or rather unattractive you are. I mean, absolutely horrendous. I read the thing from, I watched a documentary, is it Jessie from Little Mix? And my goodness, the devastation, the bullying online caused for her. She almost ended her life. I was horrified. I don't need to talk about celebrities that's happened to, but this is absolutely huge. And it is all the little throwaway comments. I had people saying to me, if I didn't want to eat a certain thing or something, they'd be like, oh, why are you not eating that? You're so skinny. What's your problem? Or people telling me I was almost too skinny. I was like, oh, I'm sorry about my genetics, but that made me feel really uncomfortable.
And that's the thing, isn't it? I think people get offended if they're overweight and people make comments, but it's also the other way around, isn't it?
It really is.
I remember my mum saying to me once, and she's 77, she said that somebody had commented that she was very plain when she was young, and that followed her through her entire life and still does, that she thinks of herself as being plain. And you couldn't get a more beautiful woman, could you really, than my mum?
Unbelievable.
I know.
She's fabulous. She's amazing.
But that followed her through her entire life, that one comment, that one throwaway comment by a person. And that sort of thing happens daily. And
it does.
It's the accumulation, isn't it? So when they come to you, it's really had a major impact on their self-esteem. And you're like a shining light for these women. You're going to transform them and teach them new skills. You really are like a shining light. It's just an amazing thing that you're doing.
Oh, thank you. I love it. I'm so excited about it. It feels amazing, because I don't want anyone to feel like that. I do not want anyone to waste any more time thinking that they're not good enough, because they are. And I wouldn't say I wasted a lot of years. I've got a lovely life, but I could have had so many different opportunities, I think, and I could have done different things, shall we say, if I'd have had that confidence and I realized I was good enough. And I think that's the thing, isn't it?
Well, from everything, imagine if you'd felt good enough earlier and you could have had your business up and running and making money and be in a different place altogether now. But it always is what it is, isn't it? And it's about taking action today to change things for the better, for the future, isn't it? It's about taking that action and making that decision today, like you did when you joined my program. You just said yes, and you didn't know what was coming, really, did you?
No, I didn't. No, but I knew I was going to do it. I knew this was going to be the best opportunity I would ever have. And it honestly, hand on my heart, has been, that we've talked about this a lot. And actually, you're encouraging me, and that one step has encouraged me to say yes to so many opportunities. That's your thing, isn't it? I think about you, and I think Mandy would say yes to the opportunities. And it's so true, because they're coming my way now. Look at me doing this. It's amazing. And I want people to embrace that. And the one thing I would really say is that, whether it's with me or anybody else, invest in yourself, because it's the best thing. I spent years buying, loads of clothes and everything else to make me feel better. And you know what? It didn't. It made me feel worse, because I'd bought clothes that I didn't even wear. what a waste of money. I got into a bit of debt. If only I'd invested in myself, I wouldn't have needed the clothes, because I certainly don't now. I like to look nice. They're not my armor anymore. I don't need that. So yeah, invest in yourself.
No, that's an amazing comment. Not your armor anymore. I love that. That's a quote to be used again by Kerrie, I think.
Yes, actually, yes, that's another light bulb.
It is a great quote. That, and it's actually, your armor is what you're learning to become, isn't it? And that's really, you know, and I love to pick up on things like that because they're so important. And that's what you, and it's almost like when you invest in yourself and you do something and you realize what you are, it's paying it forward, because you can then take loads of other women in that direction as well. And that's what makes these types of businesses that help other people really soul-centered. And it's when you find your soul's purpose and when you find your true calling and you follow it 100%, that you do the best work of your life. And that's where you're at now.
Absolutely. And it feels so right. It feels so comfortable. You know, I always said, you know, and you always said to me, you know, you've got to find the thing that's right. And then when it's right for you, it won't feel like work. You'll never run out of things to say because you love it. And that's exactly where I'm at with it now. You know, I just, it feels fantastic.
Awesome. So thank you, Kerrie, for coming on here and talking to me tonight. I think my audience will absolutely love and adore you, because why wouldn't they? So we've said all the links, all Kerrie's links are in the box above. And you can find her. If you want to talk to her, then send her a message on any of her Facebook places. But if you want to take advantage of a 21-day program while it's still on promotional price of £95.
95, yep.
The links above. So click on that and, you know, take advantage of that and work with this amazing lady. And thank you so much for coming on here tonight, Kerrie.
Thank you, Mandy. It's been fab, as always.
Thank you.